Welcome to Lugar Stories, a podcast of the stories in and around the magical land of Lugar. Welcome, everyone, to Lugar Stories. I'm your host, Haley Marie, and I am here today with our very special guest, Lugar investor and Access Consciousness certified facilitator and Joy of Business facilitator, Venus Castleburg. Welcome, Venus. Thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. How exciting.
Thank you for joining us. And this is such an exciting time at Lugar as, we began construction in March. David was just there and sent us a bunch of amazing photos and videos of his journey and the progress that is happening at Lugar. The restaurant is being built. The gate is being built, and we have the map of all the casitas that are going in, and you are a casita investor. And I'm wondering, Gary, before Lugar ever even had the land that it has, Gary was talking about Lugar and the possibility of Lugar showing up. And I'm wondering, do you remember the first time that you heard Gary talk about Lugar, and what did that do for your body and your being when you heard him talk about it?
Well, you're very intuitive because it definitely did something for my whole being and body. It was actually my very first Access Consciousness Certified Facilitators class. And it was the phase one, it was a thought, I do believe they had the land, but the whole, what they were going to build and all that was still just an idea that they were formulating that hadn't really, and I remember when I heard about it and I was I had full body chills, was such a yes in my universe. And I had no freaking clue how I was going to do that. It was that's a yes. And it's such a beyond. How could I possibly invest in something like that? So I knew it was a yes. And I think it still took me about 6 months, 4 to 6 months to actually call Love and go, okay, I'm in. I still don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm in. And it was at the very end of phase one. So, and she was like, wow, your timing's kind of impeccable. I was so, yeah. And it was just, I've always known I wanted to be a part of it. And I think the how was probably my biggest, what?
What do you remember what it is that made you get past the how? Do you have any questions that you asked or tools that you used that kind of sent you over that hump to say yes?
Well, the yes came before the how. I was okay, I'm in and I don't know how. But what I realized for me was it was the first time in my life that my ask was bigger than a comprehension. I asked for a lot in my life, but I could always kind of see how I could do it. Even if, and I said, okay, so no matter what it takes, I'm having this and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And it was so cool because that year I had people offering me jobs I'd never done before. I started business coaching for big companies. It was crazy the things that showed up. I got offered jobs that paid me twice as much as I'd ever gotten paid before, that were a drive away. And people would be like, well, why are you making that hour-long drive to get to this other job? And I was because it was light and I knew that it was creating something. And then it happened. I know it sounds weird, but it happened as if by magic. It was suddenly then I had the money, and I was able to do it But I remember Gary Douglas once saying, if you're not getting everything you want in your life, you're not asking for enough. And it was the first time in my life that I asked for more than I'd ever asked before. And it was amazing at the things that showed up. Like, people gave me money. Like, it was like, it was such an amazing, and I just felt like El Lugar even contributed to that. Like, was like, you're a yes to me, I'm a yes to you. And it was such a gift of communion even going on with El Lugar.
Yeah, it has a tendency to have that magical contribution back to everybody who says yes and who wants to contribute. And the way that it contributes back is, like you said, it's magical. It's unexplainable. And maybe somewhere along the way we lost that magic, and El Lugar is here to show us those possibilities of magic. And other than more money showing up in basically the El Lugar, like sending you this, hey, yeah, here you go. Thank you. Here's my gratitude in return. Did anything else change in your life? Did any other things show up for you? Just out of curiosity, what else changed for you?
Well, it was interesting, actually. I said yes to El Lugar, and right about the same time I did get into like an actual partnership. I'd never really put those two together, but I was like, oh, that's true. I actually had that piece too. And we just bought a house, and I know for a fact that my investment in El Lugar also contributed to buying the house, because that was when I started asking for a house, was when I was actually investing in El Lugar. I was like, okay, and I'd really like to own a home, and I had so many things that contributed to El Lugar that I can actually see now also contributed to me being able to buy this house.
That's awesome.
But I didn't know at the time that they would contribute so much and keep contributing even and contribute to other areas of your life. So, and it changed my whole financial reality too. I used to worry a lot about money, not really believe anything was possible with money, and I don't worry about money anymore.
Awesome. I can't get any better than that. And you visited El Lugar before, yes, on some of the excursions that we've had over there. What is it like for your body to be at El Lugar? El Lugar has, I would say, just this space to it that's just really magical. It was really fun because when we were there, we were actually to pick out our location of like where we wanted our casita to be, and we got to drive around and kind of choose like what what lot, and you picked like 3 out of 4 or something like that. But we were driving on this a wagon. We did the horseback ride first, and then we did the wagon, which was the tour of the spaces. And as we turned this corner, my whole body did that full body chill thing again. Yeah.
And I was like, right here. like I knew that was where my casita was going to be, even though I, put in for all these other ones. And I was like, wow, that is so cool that I had the awareness of that was where my body wanted to be on El Lugar. I just love those sorts of confirmations, like yes, this, and yes, here, or the whispers in the universe, however we get them. I tend to get the full body chills, which is fun for me. So.
Yeah, that's, the body being in communion with the earth and just having that awareness of, okay, here it is. This is it. It is an amazing thing. And it's been a while since we've been able to visit El Lugar, being in the technically in the pandemic still in the US, where they don't want us to go anywhere really. And what is the first thing that you would like to do when you get back to El Lugar?
Truthfully, I think I'd really like to do the horseback ride again. There's just something about, the wandering through the nature part with the horse, with the land, kind of reminding us in a way how small we are, and how much the earth has our back and contributes to us through nature and the beauty. And it was such a contribution to hear Gary talk about how much he wanted to have this land nurture the earth and have these building sustainable housing that doesn't rape the land or hurt it, and like how much of an invitation is that now for others to know that that's possible. We don't have to just rape and pillage the land. We don't have to hurt the land to create communion with it, to live on it. And there's this peace and ease and space on the horse at El Lugar. It's kind of indescribable. So if you've never done it, I highly recommend doing it.
That's good to know. Yes, everybody go to El Lugar, ride the horses when you get a chance. I haven't ridden myself at El Lugar yet. I have only ridden at Hotel Manoa when we at a 7-day event several years ago. It's actually the first time I had been on a horse in a long time. And even being there in Costa Rica, even though it wasn't El Lugar, it was quite magical, as it was not an experience. I had allowed my body for a while, and my body was like, yes, this is like so incredible. Why have we not done this for so long? So I can only imagine what that would be like at El Lugar itself, with the beauty of everything there. Everything seems to grow more there. It seems to be nurtured so much there. And what we are creating with the sustainable housing, it is definitely a prototype for a way to build with the earth in the future and to create with the earth like it has never been done before. Mm-hmm. So is there anything that you would like to tell our listeners about investing in El Lugar, visiting El Lugar, that you haven't shared yet?
Well, it is something I've shared, but I can be a little more direct with it. If you want to change your money situation, invest in El Lugar. And I know it might seem backwards, and you're like, I don't know how investing in a property is actually going to change something on my finances. But it's not linear. And the contribution that the earth is just so magical.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's interesting because it's not linear. A lot of times people look at creating more money as taking things out of their life. But when has that ever created more money for anybody? And I've listened to you. I've listened to all the very different conversations from the different people who have invested in El Lugar. And everybody that has invested in El Lugar completely changed their money situations. They created more money. They created more business possibilities, more revenue streams, just by their investment in El Lugar, which is, like you said, it's not linear in any way by this reality, and it would probably be totally not recommended by financial investors or people who are advising you on finances. Yet it has this unique contribution that it brings into everybody's world who's involved in El Lugar, who invests in El Lugar. Even if you just contribute energetically to El Lugar, it will still contribute back to you greater than what you could possibly imagine from what I've seen. for sure. Awesome. So do you have a trip planned to Costa Rica anytime soon, or when you're able to get there again?
Well, we are signed up for the 6th day in October, and we're obviously not sure if that's going to happen with, so next chance we get. So.
Yeah. And there will be the visit to El Lugar if we are able to afterwards, if we're able to have that 6-day event happen. Yes, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story and what you have created with your life and with El Lugar. We're super grateful for you being here.
Thank you, Haley. Totally a pleasure.
Thank you. And we look forward to the next podcast. Join us in about a week for the next one. And have an amazing day, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you for visiting El Lugar Stories. For more information on El Lugar, please visit our website at www.el-lugar.com and follow us on our many social media channels, which you can find here on this page.